Bored, bored, bored. Hi, Violet. How are you? Wasn't sure if anybody would show up. I was just finished watching Johnny Depp trial. They're on I guess they're on their lunch break right now. How are you? I just thought I'd go live because I haven't gone live all week. So I thought, oh, why not? I won't schedule it. I'll just go live and see if anybody shows up. I don't know how many people are in there. It says 8. If you're in here, you can talk. If you're in here, you can come up even. Oh, it's crazy what's going on in that trial. If you didn't know anything about it, like if you hadn't followed it, I know, but if you didn't know anything about it, um, nothing. Hi, Gemma. How are you doing, honey? Um, if you didn't know anything, sorry about that. If you didn't know anything about it, who would you believe? Like, that's what I'm trying to put myself in the in the position of the lawyers, because who would you believe? Hi, Renee. Is it morning where you are? Oh, cool. It was good to see that Ben's home now. I hope he's doing good. I sent him a message this morning. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Lisa. No, I had to go. I was kind of I, you know, I was not feeling well. I was feeling okay the night before I had to go in the hospital. And then the next day I started feeling really bad. Um, and I started hemorrhaging. And I didn't want to go to the hospital. My husband actually had to force me to the hospital. But what made me want to go is the last time I went in, I completely hemorrhaged all over my bathroom. It looked like a freaking crime scene. I can laugh about it now because I'm okay. But it honestly looked like a crime scene in there. There was blood everywhere on the walls. It just was everywhere. And even when I went into emergency, they couldn't even let me. And I said to the lady, I said, if you leave me out here, I said, there's going to be blood all over your emergency room. And she took me back right away. And I didn't even make it to the bathroom before there was blood again. And they had to give me my own room because, it was pretty bad. Yeah, I had to have a blood transfusion. I lost a lot of blood. And then then I had to have a CAT scan, and because I wanted to know what was causing this. So, hi, Kid Wonder. Hi, Lisa. By the way, if I didn't say hi to you, I'm saying hi to you now. So I had to have all this stuff done, and I'll tell you, it is not fun being in the hospital, not at all. But I'll tell you, I had the nicest nurses and the most wonderful doctors. But I'm not done yet. I have 2 more procedures to go through. And then, from what he's telling me now, he's not 100% sure, but it's supposed to be day surgery. So I'm hoping that it is because I don't want to stay in the hospital. It sucks being in the hospital. First of all, the food sucks. Hi, Anita. How are you doing, hon? So yeah, so that was one, that was all, and I have to go back, and this time before he went through the lower part of my belly to go in, and they put some kind of scope and then a stent, and then they have to put another stent in, but this time they're going through my arm. Hi, Vinny. So they have to go through my arm. And first of all, he was just going to put like a little tube or something in. And now he says he's more comfortable. Hi, Vinny. He's more comfortable cutting, like doing the thing, because he said I might still have like some, some, what do you call it? Numbness and stuff. And he said some people experience that for as much as a month, couple weeks, couple months. you know it's crazy. But when you cut through tendons and nerves, that's what it can go like. And he said the lower part of my arm might feel like numb, and so I'm not looking forward to that. Yeah, it's the worst part is over, Vinny. The I already got, well, I can't say that. Yeah, I mean, I still have a couple more procedures to go through. Hi, Al. Um, but it'll be okay. My husband actually had to. I don't know if any of you are like this, but I had to be dragged to the hospital. I did not want to go until I saw all the blood, and then my husband said, "You're going to the hospital." Like he forced me. There's no way I wanted to go because I was scared. Like it scared me. I've never seen that much blood in my life. And first of all, I thought the blood was because I had eaten spaghetti the night before. And I'm like, oh, that's just the spaghetti I ate. No, it wasn't. It was all blood. Blood, blood, blood. But it's funny, it, it's funny how things happen. And then, and then all those kids that just, lost their lives in Uvalde, Texas. I think about that, and I think about all the fights that go on YouTube, and how unimportant it is, and how these people like, go after each other um, time after time. And, we lost our niece at the beginning of the school year. She was in a horrible, horrible accident, and she was 9 years old. And sometimes you have to reflect on what's important in your life. And it's definitely not YouTube. And what was funny though in the hospital was the nurses were like, I would go into a chat and they said, we're all trying to figure out what you're watching on YouTube. I said, don't even try to figure it out because I don't even know what I'm watching on YouTube. Yeah, it does put things in perspective. When my husband told me, because I don't watch the news, I stopped watching the news during the pandemic. I just don't like it. My husband called me into the other room because he watches sports and stuff, and I don't. So we have separate TVs and separate rooms. And he says, come here. And he goes, and at that time, there was only 14 children that they were reporting on, 14 children and one teacher. And I'm like, oh my God, just before summer vacation. It's getting to the point where I don't even want my grandchildren to go to school. I don't. It's scary. Thank you, Luna. I appreciate that. No, no, and like the nurse, well, they all knew about the Johnny Depp trial because I was watching it on my phone. So the nurse was like, You're watching that? She goes, oh, keep it on, keep it on. 'Cause when they were wheeling me down to the operating room, she was like, keep it on, because she was listening. She goes, whenever I get a chance, I'm listening to it. But the chats, they don't understand that. And they were all trying to figure out what I was watching because, like, sometimes the language, I don't want my grandson going to public school. Yeah, my grandchildren, I just, after this last thing that happened in Uvalde, Texas, I I have a hard time wanting my grandchildren to go to any public school, because you send your kids to school expecting to pick them up safe at the end of the day, and this happens. Hi, O'Clancy. I still have a couple more procedures to go through, but I am doing better. I'm home, which makes it a lot better, because when you're in the hospital, I think it takes you longer to recover when you're in the hospital. You just don't want to be there. Like, every day was a struggle for me in the hospital. They couldn't find veins. They couldn't, it was like constant. Whenever they poked me, they would leave a big bruise. They couldn't find any veins to take blood from. Well, I don't know where they got the blood from, because I don't think I had any left. But yeah, it could happen in any school. Sure, Vinny, you want to come up? Invite. I'll put the the heck. I'll put the there you go. I just think it's like, I just sent Ben a message this morning. He did a live yesterday. He was talking to his mom. I guess I from what I understand, because I was looking it up, strokes can be more dangerous than a heart attack. I did not know that. Like, a lot of people will pass away from a stroke. Add to stream. Hi, Vinny.
Hi, Carla. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I was just listening to you, and you somehow put a smile on my face, even though you're going through a hard time yourself. Just the things you were saying about your stay in hospital. Like, I had the nurses come up to me and say, "What are you watching?" I said, "You don't want to know. You just do not want to."
I know the nurses were on my floor were saying, we're all trying to figure out, because I would go into different chats, and some would be nice and
Yeah,
friendly, and some would be just screaming at each other. And she says, we're all trying to figure out what you're watching. I said, you'll never figure it out unless you've been on YouTube for a while. You never figure it out.
yeah. I had a T-shirt that I wore in hospital myself, and it had the Boit emblem on the back and Super Troll, a caption or a comic thing that I designed. And like, when I was in a wheelchair, like, the nurse pushing me around would say, "What is Boit? You don't want to know."
That's true. How long were you in the hospital for your stroke?
47 days.
See, Ben was in for a month. Um,
Yeah.
from what I understand, because he did a
I,
video.
I discharged myself, actually. I would have been in there longer, but I'd had enough. I couldn't take it any
Well,
longer.
I heard, I was reading up on this because, of course, Ben is my friend, so I wanted to know about strokes and
And
strokes.
that was a sincere apology to Ben, Carla. It
Oh, I know
really
you did.
was.
That's why I thanked you this morning, because I was surprised to see you comment under there. But I know you went through a lot, but do you know that strokes can be more dangerous than a heart attack?
Yeah, I was on death's door. Hmm. Yeah,
And still you had people going at you.
yeah. And that's a sad part. And like you meet wonderful people on here in a social environment, and I don't know, maybe I'm understanding it wrong. Like, you know, there is wonderful people on this planet, and you know, you, yeah, there's also nasty people, and respectively, you treat nasty with nasty and wonderful with wonderful. And I was listening to your statements you were making about your grandchildren.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's so sad, in America that you have this situation with the schools, and like elementary school. Like, come on, that it makes, yeah, I can understand the sentiment of mothers and grandmothers not wanting to send their kids to school. I really I get that, because I could not fathom the thought of saying goodbye to your children in the morning and expecting to pick them up from school, and such a tragedy occurs.
Well, the
That
thing is, they make it so easy here. It's so easy, and not just for adults to get the assault rifles, but for kids.
Yeah, I mean, that's just crazy to me, and it just so repetitive. You know what I mean? And like, some people don't have choices. Like, poverty is a real thing in life, and you don't get the chance to protect your children in the course of wanting to put them through an education. You know what I mean? And it's just so sad. There's, I just can't even fathom that.
Well, here's the thing, and they said, well, the shooter is dead. I have no empathy for him, because he made a decision to go into a school where there was young children and
Yeah,
take them out like
yeah,
nothing. They he was shooting them in the head. Like, no, I'm sorry. Like, if you
yeah,
want to kill yourself, I'm sorry. Kill yourself, but
yeah.
don't take all those people with you. I don't understand. I really
I
don't, and I never will.
I think it's a more important issue than a Johnny Depp and Amber Heard
Oh,
divorce.
it definitely is.
I really do, and like, unfortunately, with the stigma of such an act, what comes with it is people can't bear to stand it, because it is heart wrenching. You know what I'm saying? It is,
It
but
is.
yeah, and like, I believe that the parents of that child should also, like, they should come into the equation. You know, if
Hmm.
if they have, like, what did they do for their child to be raised to that status? You know what I mean? Because if
Right.
you have love and empathy in your heart, I'm pretty sure your children won't do that.
Well, how do you prevent, like, what do you do? Like, I think parents should be held accountable when their kids do something. Like, I'm sorry, I really do believe that
Yep.
when it's your children that do
Mhm.
something like this, like a heinous crime like that, you should be held accountable.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. I'm going to turn the camera on, Carla, and
Okay.
I'm going to show you another one of my twisted projects. Excuse the mess too, because like, I've been working all week, so I haven't had a real chance to clean my environment. But it's not too bad. It's just my laundry basket and the green screen. So
Are
uh,
you knitting again?
yeah, well, I got bored again, so I've
Oh,
made
I like that.
I've made I've made another one of these. It's like the
I like that.
yeah, the scarf, and I'm halfway through it. I think it's a bit long. I've just got to trim up the joins where I've joined the wool.
Oh,
But
that's so. So, did you learn that from YouTube?
yeah, basically. Yeah, so I make these, and like, I feel generous sometimes, but like I don't make them on purpose. It's just like listening to a person such as yourself, Carla. I will be listening and I will be knitting.
That's what,
Um,
do you know that that's what I used to do on YouTube? I would
yeah,
listen to chats and I would be crocheting the whole time.
yeah, and like it just, they say idle hands are the devil's work. So I'm better off trying to knit than cause as much havoc as I can. But I hope you're all right, Carla.
Oh, I
I
am. They're
Yeah,
they're they're taking care of me. My doctors. I have great doctors. I have three doctors, so two
yeah,
surgeons and my family doctor. So yeah, they're going to
yeah.
take care of me.
How's the hospital food?
Oh, the hospital's great.
The
Hospital. Hi,
food,
Shauna. Hi,
the food.
Shauna. The food is awful.
Yeah,
Awful. Worst food
I
ever.
I remember. I don't want to make this about myself, but like when I was in the emergency, I was in the ER for 4 days, and I like you have a feeding tube, and
Ugh.
once they took the feeding tube out, they actually get a speech doctor or whatever, and they check your throat to make sure you've got control of your muscles in your throat to make sure you don't drown when you drink water.
Oh
And
my gosh.
the water they were giving me is called thickened water, and like that, it's like Jello but more liquid.
Mm-hmm.
And then the food, because I'd lost taste, I thought it was just hospital food, Carla, and I was complaining to the catering staff all the time. I'd say, "Oh, this is crap. It doesn't taste like anything." And the guy from he'd push the cart around to deliver the food. He'd say, "Oh, the chips are all right," and I said, "They taste like crap," and because I couldn't taste it, it was just like crunching crap. And yeah, it's the hospital food itself. It was good though. It put my mindset. Hospital, what it did to me, it made me look at myself and why I was there, and it made me try to improve whatever was left of me. That
Yeah, that's what I reflected a lot when I was in the hospital about what's important. I mean, I still watched YouTube, but
Yeah,
I didn't go live. I just watched other people, and I'm like, why do I really want to be when I really want to do anything or fight? Is it worth it for me to fight with people on here? No, it's not.
yeah. Well, I look at it this way, Carla. I don't know what a lot of people look for fame on social media. I've never been that person. I actually came here and started live streaming in 2016 because I had broken bones and I was laid up for a bit. So, and that's when I got, the chance to socialise and meet people. But, then I quickly found out how nasty that could be.
And yeah, I never knew what doxing was. I never knew what trolling was. I never
Mhm.
even knew that they had live streams before. When I first came on, I had my real first name and last name on here. I mean, I just didn't know. I was that dumb that I didn't know about all
Yeah.
that stuff.
I actually came on here, Carla, at first and said, "Yeah, I'm Vince Gerard and I live at 10 Fowler Road, Roeville, and here's my phone number if you want to get."
Yeah. Well, I just had my real first name and didn't think anything of it because I had my real first and last name on Facebook and I never had issues with it. Well,
Yeah.
now I know better, but I didn't then at the time.
I remember years ago, MFW, I'd be in her chat. I'd just drop in and say, "Hi, Katie, bye, Katie," just dropping by to show some support, whatever. And someone said something, "Oh, I'm going to dox Vinny." I put my phone number in her side chat, and like her whole side chat, there'd be a couple of hundred people in there. They go, "Did he just put his phone number out and address out?" Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
But hey, I paid the price for that, Carla. I wouldn't advise anyone to do it because, like, when the popo turns up on your door and stuff like that, they're quite nasty on you. I will say that. But there
Well,
is there is some nice people, Carla, and I really, really,
That's
I
what makes
enjoy
it
talking
worth
to
it.
you. Mm,
That's what
yeah,
makes it worth it being on here, because I know you have Jenny, Jen, Hondo. I
yeah.
mean, you guys are all good friends, and you have been for years. So I think,
Here's the thing with my friends on here, Carla. Um, I had my stroke, and I was already a single guy, and like I was too embarrassed. I didn't want anyone to see me in the state I was, and it was actually people like Hondo and Jen that would wake me up, remind me of my appointments, tell me I had a doctor, because I would tell everything to Jenny so I wouldn't forget it, because the strokes really affected my memory. And ever so thankful for those people. Ever so thankful. Just saying.
well, that's a
That,
real friend.
yeah. Jenny would stay awake just to make sure I went to the doctors, had my point. She would even, I would get a bing in the background and she'd be, Vinny, time to take your medication. I'd say, thanks, Jenny, and I wouldn't take it
I
anyway.
think
So,
she did say that. She goes, "Have you taken?" I think she was on a live stream one time, or she was doing a live, and she goes, "Have you taken your medication?" And I was
yeah,
like, "Now that's a friend.
yeah.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
real friend."
Because I held up everything the doctor gave me to Jenny, and I said, Jenny, apparently I've got to take one of these 3 times a day for blood pressure, one of these for my heart, and all that. And like she'd actually take the time to write it down and remind me of those moments. You know what I mean? And like
Mm-hmm.
I remember coming out of appointments, and the first one to hit me up was Jenny and Hondo to ask me how I went, not to find out how I went to come back online and bring it back on here, as genuine people,
Oh
just like
yeah.
when they're sick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you ask about that, and like there is a nice side of YouTube, but I don't seem like a nice
Uh,
person. That's what they make me into.
um, I've always found you to be respectful. I don't know the. And here's the thing on here, you hear a lot of things about people. I go by what how that person treats me. If you're respectful to me, I'm respectful to you. And I
Yeah,
think a lot of people are like that too. If you're respectful to them, they'll be respectful to you.
yeah, and like yeah, it's called being human, Carla.
Mm-hmm.
It's called being empath. Well, it's having empathy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I actually shut down the studio up the other end there, and I walked all the way down here, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna see who's on, and put them on, and go to bed and listen to them. And I heard you were saying you're in hospital and all that, and I thought, oh, you know, I just
Well, I'm
related to
not in. I'm home right now. I'm
yeah,
waiting to go. They're waiting to get hold of my insurance company, because I have another procedure. I have two more procedures to go through.
yeah.
But yeah, they sent me home.
Are you
I
finding COVID has is really strained the health system in your country? Like here, they put off.
it wasn't when I was in the hospital.
Yeah,
I was on the COVID ward and the heart place, the heart ward.
yeah.
But they told me, and I was on heart monitors the whole time
Do
I
you,
was there.
do you want to know what happened to me while I was in hospital? That was really weird. So um, I said to the nurses, I said, "Listen, there's something wrong with me. I can feel it coming. I don't get I hardly get any flus or colds or things like that, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Um, I said to them, I said, when I do get one, it is like a hurricane in Texas. Um, so they put me in a ward in a room all by myself, and next thing I know, I couldn't stop coughing and all that sort of stuff. Two guys in hazmat suits came into the room
Oh my gosh.
after midnight, and they stuck one of those things up my nose even before COVID had hit our shores. And that's when 24 hours later, they came back to me and said it was viral, not bacterial or something like that. And I didn't know what they were talking about. The next thing I know, Carla, 2 months later, the whole world is fearing this thing called COVID. And like I'm thinking, were they testing me for that without even knowing about it? Like me knowing about it? And I just thought that was weird. Then the world went into lockdown, you know?
Well, I tested myself before I went to emergency. I tested myself here because I have the home testing things, but I
Yeah,
don't know how accurate those things are. But
yeah,
it wasn't that because they test you for that in the hospital before you even get in there.
yeah.
Um, but
Did you
yeah, it was
did
like
you get the vaccine?
I've got both vaccines. I
Yeah,
got the booster, but they wanted me to because I had a staph infection a couple years ago. So
yeah,
they wanted me. My immune system isn't the greatest, so.
yeah. So that's what in 2016, when my foot and leg was broken in an incident. Um, the healing process was the hardest because I had the staph, the golden staph,
Uh huh.
and like, wow, that is something really hard to get rid of. You know, really
You
hard.
had a staph infection also.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
You can die. You know you can die from that. I had it in my arm,
yeah,
and he told me. He said as soon as he saw it, he says, "I'm not sending you home." They put me on antibiotics, and I ended up in the hospital for a month with that.
yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I how what happened to me is um, because I had crush injuries, and I'm not complaining or anything like that. It's just life. I'm just human conversation, you know.
Hmm.
Um, the doctor said to me, I remember in hospital when I turned up, because when I got thrown in the back of the ambulance, they had to cut my pants off and had to cut my boots off. And they were the painkillers I got in the ambulance was um, a little tube that they squirt in your nose.
Oh
And
really?
yeah, that completely alleviated any pain. But anyway, as I got better and the crush injuries turned into blisters, and the blisters got infected, well, all these wounds opened up and they weren't healing. And I swear to God, Carla, I I was like fire,
Yeah.
just
Oh, I know.
swelling fire. I actually got my finger because I was massaging around one of the wounds to try and alleviate it because it was like pressure, pain. It was a mixed combination of things. I stuck my finger in the wound and
Oh,
I was pulling flesh out.
oh,
That's
oh.
that's that's the extent of what I got. And when they put me on the strongest antibiotics they had here in Australia, it still wasn't healing. So I went to the doctors one night to get all my bandages changed, and the doctor, thankfully, he wasn't there, and there was a lady there, and she said to me, the Australian government has just allowed aloe vera as a treatment. And she said to me, look, we've tried antibiotics and all that by the looks of your records, your medical records. She said, can I just try this aloe vera on you? And I said, yeah, whatever. If it works, it works. So they had an aloe vera plant in the in the doctor's surgery. She actually got a leaf, crushed it up in a pestle, and poured the liquid from the aloe vera plant in the wounds, and also the chopped up bit of the aloe vera in the wounds, redressed it. Within 1 month, healing began.
Yeah, that's a healing plant.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
We have those plants here. My husband
Yeah,
grows them.
I couldn't believe it. I
They're
just
good
went,
for burns too. If you ever get a sunburn or whatever,
yeah,
get an aloe vera plant and open it up and
yeah,
rub it. It'll alleviate your sunburn.
yeah. The antibiotics are awful, aren't they? You know, they what I found with the antibiotics I was on, if I sneezed, it was like smelling antibiotics. When I
Oh,
went to
really?
the toilet, say for number ones and number twos, I could smell the antibiotics. That's
Wow.
how powerful they were, and like you burped if you belched, you could smell the antibiotics. It was I'm not an antibiotic. Well, I mean they help, I guess, because I was still on antibiotics, but with the aloe vera plant, that started the healing process. I was amazed by that. I'm just saying, some natural medicines do work, you know.
Some of them do. With my staph infection, they had to actually go in and pull out the infection, and then it had to heal from the inside out, which
Yeah,
means they had to pack it,
yeah,
with it, put the bandage in, and then pull it out. Oh my God, that was the most. Having the operation wasn't the most painful. The packing of the operation, like putting it inside.
yeah. Do you know, like the wounds? There's, I don't know what your medical sort of stuff is like over there, but like from my experiences in hospitals, I've always said some nurses shouldn't be nurses, like some doctors shouldn't be doctors, like some firemen shouldn't be firemen, because there's those who care and those who don't. Because to me, if I was a nurse, I'd be doing it because that's something I wanted to do, help people, you
Right.
know.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some that are just there for the money. And I remember I rang up the hospital and I said, "Look, my legs are on fire. I actually I need pressure relief or something like that," because I found photos the other day, Carla, of what my feet were like, and like they were just so huge. I'd never have imagined they were like that. It got so bad they had to do, you know, that test they do on ladies when they get pregnant. They run that thing over their belly and it
Yeah,
shows
yeah, yeah. Um, Ultrasound.
an ultrasound, right? They actually did that and they went right up to my groin to check all the arteries and all that because they thought there might be blood flow problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that my strokes were probably the end result of that first injury.
Hi,
Uh,
Uni.
you know, I really, really do. I don't know because plus I was a hell of a lot overweight too. I suppose you know
Did you?
probably.
Did they tell you what was? I mean, I know you've lost a lot of weight because I saw you before.
Yeah,
You were a lot heavier than you were before, but
yeah,
did they say that was a contributing factor? My dad died of a sudden death heart attack. Okay, he
yeah.
had a heart attack and never came out of it.
Yeah,
Um,
well, obesity is a disease, and um, yeah, like they can't tell you because they're scared that when they tell you, you'll get offended. But if you have some self reflection, and you know, you can understand that maybe that's not what you're meant to be like.
mhm.
Um, and like you said, I heard what you said too before. When you get to a point where you're in hospital, you really got to weigh up what's worth it to you. And
Mhm.
all that became worth it to me was me when I
Right.
was in hospital to get myself to take what's left and put it back together in the best way that I can. And I did that, and it wasn't out of arrogance or anything like that. There were many tears. There was pain. There was all sorts of things. But that's something that I recognise within myself because my doctor, a couple of months later after the strokes, you know, and I'd been home, he said, "Oh, you're losing weight. That's good." That's all he said to me. He goes, "That's good." You know,
How much weight did you lose altogether?
100 pounds.
Okay, and you didn't go on a specific diet. You just started
No,
eating healthy?
I well, because I lost taste, food became irrelevant to me. I just chewed on whatever would agree with my digestive system because my stroke my strokes, that I actually fractured a collarbone in hospital while the third stroke was happening. They had to put me in an MRI machine, a special one to see what's going on inside your brain. And it was such an emergency that when they pushed me in there, they breached the safe point of the MRI, and my collarbone, it was fractured, as simple as that, because the first MRI they gave me, the struggle was removing all my earrings and piercings, because like MRIs are a very magnetic kind of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And by the third one, yeah, like I was a real bad. Either the strokes affected me, or I was a real bad patient. But when I got out of hospital, I was home for a week, and I had to see a neurosurgeon, neurologist, and she took me in there, and they helped me up on the bed. They gave me a quick check and all that, and she asked me. She said, "Do you want to see your strokes?" And I said, "No, not really." And she had them up on the screen, because what they do is they compile all the MRI images together, and you can see the stroke moving because of the high rate of images this thing takes. It's like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I never knew, like, if the left side of your brain gets knocked out, you get paralyzed on your whole right side. If the right side of your brain gets knocked out, you get paralyzed on your left side. Now, what seems to happen to everyone, it's usually the right side of their brain that gets knocked out. Mine was the entire left side, and that's why I was paralyzed on my right side. And
Wow.
when I looked at it, I didn't know what to make of it, except I saw a very, very large black hole kind of thing in the brain. And that's the brain dying, because the brain doesn't revive itself. The
Never?
brain, no. The brain is very good at channeling, finding other ways. You know what I mean?
Uh,
And yeah, and that's why when I saw Ben in hospital, it actually brought tears to my eyes. It really did, because I went through that.
right. You can empathize with him. You know
Mm,
what he was going
yeah,
through.
and like I really meant what I said, Carla, because um, Hondo said to me, he goes, "Hey, Vinny," he goes, "you might want to check out Ben's channel." And Hondo made a point of it. He goes, "You really should, man, because like you go and check it out." And I just thought, wow. And there's nothing I could say, because like that's a real man. What he did, that's a real man. Sorry,
Hmm.
I don't care what anyone thinks of Ben Ashworth, but for him to apologise like that, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a man to me.
He's a good. You know what? I've known Ben for 4 years now, and I know he can be difficult. He can be a jerk, but he
Yeah,
also, I know his heart. So,
yeah,
um, I'm glad to see that he's home and he's on the road to recovery. So,
yeah,
but your words meant a lot to me, saying that to him, because I know that you went through it, so you know what he went through. And
what am I see? That's what I mean, Carla. Like when you stand back and you can reflect upon the person you are. What what kind of a person would I be to do what everyone else did to me on here and wished me death when I was having a stroke? You know, I mean that poor guy there. I've been there. I know exactly what it's like, and like to be like what the other people were like to me, back to him. Now that would make me a total piece of crap. You know what I mean? And it's not about appearing as a total piece of crap. I mean from the inside. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Because like when I saw that bed and where he was, yeah, that brought back some friggin' memories. I'm saying, you
I
know.
bet. Were you in the hospital the whole 47 days?
I was in ER for 4 days, and the rest of the 43 days was in the hospital. I have every live stream I did from hospital. I've still got them, and I can't look at them. I really
See,
can't.
and the floor I was on in the hospital was the heart ward,
Yeah,
and I saw people in that, because I when they took me up there, they take you, they whale you past all these rooms, and I'm thinking to myself, some of these people are, these guys are on not just guys, women too, on
yeah,
ventilators, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I can complain about myself, but these people are really, really suffering.
yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I never thought I'd be getting hoisted with an electric hoist out of bed onto bedpans. You know what I mean? I never thought
Hmm.
I'd be in a wheelchair. And you see, I was so restless in hospital because it's just not me. I don't know illness. I don't know. I don't know staying in bed and complying with doctors. I don't know any of that. And they they actually had to sit me out the front of the nurses' station and to keep me monitored because they said to me, when you need to get out of bed, you have to call a nurse. And it was all to do with the hospital's liability if I was to fall over
Hmm.
and all that.
Yeah.
And um, as soon as the door was shut, I would be getting out of bed and trying to work out what the hell is wrong with me and trying to do the best I could. They'd come in and they'd say, oh, it's time for a bath or a shower. I said, no, I've already done it. And they go, and they like reprimand. I was non-compliant, a very non-compliant patient. And when they gave me a wheelchair, they gave it to me on purpose because I was whinging. But you got to remember, my whole right side was paralysed, so moving in a wheelchair was impossible unless you went around in circles, you know. And I managed to work out how to stand behind the wheelchair and use it as a walking frame. And I remember sneaking out before the nurses for the morning shift started. And when it came down to medication time, because they every day you would get an injection in the stomach for blood thinners. Um, you would get all your heart medication, all that. They found me in the grounds of the hospital, sitting in my wheelchair, just enjoying a sunrise, and
Wow.
like because I managed to get myself out there. I managed with one arm to do that. And like they called me non-compliant and very angry, but no, well, I know that if I wasn't, I would not be in the state I am today. And of whatever's left of me, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
you know,
Right.
you got to, yeah, you can get yourself out of a lot of trouble. And if you keep a positive mindset, Carla, like yourself,
Hmm.
um, you know, you will find some peace and you will get better. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. I understand that, but my
And
thing was,
surround yourself with beautiful people.
and I have done. That's
Yeah,
what I have been doing. And here's the thing: when I was in the hospital, there was some good nurses, and there was some awful cranky ones.
yeah,
But my doctors, I had three doctors, and all three of them were fantastic. I know they have a job to do. They understand that it was really uncomfortable for me, to be stuck in a bed. Every time I moved my arm, my stupid thing would go off, and the nurses would have to come in and
yeah.
fix that. And
Well,
I kept apologizing. I kept saying, I'm sorry, and they said, don't apologize. You don't have to apologize. It's our job is to
yeah.
take care of you. But, you know,
I remember I had to go through a series of their tests because I said to them, I said, look, if you don't let me go out of here, I can tell you now, the next time I get in that wheelchair, you ain't seeing me come back here. They had no choice because they knew I was serious. I was not staying there. I was going, and I was going down the footpath, down the road if I had to, and I was out of there. So they
so
said,
you
all right,
left against doctor's orders?
yeah.
Okay.
And they made me do a series of tests to see if I was able to um, look after myself, shower, cook, eat, and things like that. And um, yeah, so I got through all them. But like, yeah, I just find that if you surround yourself with your friends and take, because I had 2 wellness checks done in hospital, Carla. Do you know that?
No.
Oh yeah, people from YouTube rang up the hospital
Oh,
and
you're kidding me.
no. I actually had 2 wellness checks done in hospital. How's that?
Oh my
who the
God.
who the hell gets a wellness check done in hospital?
Some idiot.
Yeah,
Some
hmm,
idiot. Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah,
That's
and that did,
unbelievable.
that did happen, and I've got the live streams of when it happened. Yeah,
Wow.
and that's how foul. So I'm not apologising for my behaviour, but maybe you can sort of see why sometimes some people just get angry. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's very unforgiving. And I'm just saying, you're probably better off sort of reevaluating your life. And the people that do that, they sure complain when you do it back to them. But I never did do it back to them. But I have the abilities, the means to, and so I am kind of like not as bad as what people say. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, when I heard you saying you spent some time in hospital, I just thought I'd come and
Yeah, I
say
was
hello.
in there 6 days, and then
Yeah.
they want to bring me back and take care of the rest. They put a
And
stent in my.
how are you going at home? Are you coping all right at home? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm just watching I'm having a hard time eating because of,
Yeah.
yeah, when I eat I get kind of sick to my stomach, but I'm okay if I just drink. I've been drinking a lot of. I used to love Pepsi. I used to love Pepsi. Now I've
Okay.
been drinking a lot of juice and stuff, so I've been doing okay that
Yeah.
way. I'm getting used to it. So
Yeah. I found that look, when I got home from hospital, I looked at myself and I just thought, well, no one's going to ever want me in this condition. So I got to do things to improve myself. And then when I did improve myself, I find myself not wanting anyone. You know what I mean? And I don't know why, but that's just me. But I found, Carla, that fruit, crushed fruit into juice,
hmm
uh, that was a good thing. Yeah,
yeah, we
uh,
buy frozen fruit all the time, so maybe I'll try that.
yeah, um, yeah. Fruit like natural fruits. That was good. I hardly eat meat these days because I can't sort of stand it. I eat fish, rice, um, just things like that. But you know,
Is that how
eh,
you lost 100 pounds?
um, well, I always thought if I could go to the gym, I would be I would be happy. But the problem was, Carla, no gym here in Victoria would sign me on because of the medical conditions that I had, the strokes. Because
Oh, you'd be a risk for them.
yeah, I mean, I was looking at pamphlet. They delivered pamphlets to my hospital room. Uh, okay, work, physical life, um, like marital life, things like that after a stroke. And I'm thinking, the doctors, and they had this young lady. She was training to be a pharmacist at the hospital. So the day when I walked out at 9:48 exactly, 10 minutes before that, I had this young lady, and she's explaining all this heart medication and stuff like that. And all I could hear, Carla, was blah 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 blah, because there is no way I was taking any of that crap. And I've still got a box here, and that is dated. When was that dated? Okay. The 1st of the 6th, 2020. And it's a heart medication they told me I would be on forever. It's called Indocil Mono 4. Well, that's the brand of it, but it's perindrobupilbumine. I can't even say it. There is apparently so many tablets in here, 30, and I think when I got home I took 15. And
so you're not taking them anymore?
No. And I'll turn the camera on, I'll show you. I kept them as a souvenir, right? So that's all I ever took of, and I had a repeat script. This stuff here comes with a repeat script. Oh, hang on. This stuff here comes with a repeat script. This is heart medication. Because, to be honest, they hadn't,
You didn't even take half of them.
No. And
Jenny, I'm going to smack you.
I'm just not a medication kind of guy, because, I thought to myself, I can do this. I got this. And in the end, against any doctor's orders,
but if you felt like you felt a certain way, would you start taking them again?
No. And that's being honest. I've got a mindset now. If it happens again, Carla, and I mean it, I don't want to come back from it. I really don't. It was too much. It was too much. It was.
Well, your friends that love you and care about you would care about that.
Yeah, I know, Carla, but in a personal
sense. But they put you on so much. I know I'm on all kinds of medication too, and sometimes it's just like, I don't remember all this stuff. I just don't. And I don't want to be on all this stuff, blood thinners and this and that, and high blood pressure medication, and oh my gosh,
Yeah. And I just thought to myself, all right, well, when I was a kid, I had no problems with my heart, my muscles, eating and things like that. But it wasn't about being a kid. It was about maintaining a decent sort of weight within my range for my height, the body mass index, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And, I built a gym, and because no one would sign me up for a gym, and against all odds, all on my own, totally wouldn't recommend it to anyone, because if it goes wrong, you're left there on your own. And believe it or not, when my first stroke hit, Carla, do you know how the ambulance got to my house?
No.
Okay, so I've got a Google Home device here, and I actually commanded it to ring the emergency services. So
wow,
Google kind of rang the ambulance for me. And then when they rang back, I could, because when I started leaning over and getting paralysis, I could see my phone, I could hear my phone, but I couldn't operate my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God, in a sense, that I had 2 years prior to that, I'd set up devices because I could, and I thought them interesting, because I was too lazy to type anything I wanted to search on Google. And then when I remember looking at the Google Home app, and I thought, I wonder if that, because when I rang it, it was like, because I lost all speech as well.
Oh, you couldn't talk either?
No.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Irish Marie would be a witness to that. When she rang my hospital to bring it back to YouTube and make a big joke of it. She says it in her statement. He couldn't even talk properly, blah blah blah. And like, yeah, I'm just saying, I lost speech. I was in a bad shape, and I thought, nah, this
And
ain't
then
happening.
people took advantage of that to go
Yeah.
at you.
Oh yeah. And
That's what YouTube is.
yeah, and I hope you had kinder doctors for your experience in hospital than what I did, because like in the ER, I had a doctor try to communicate with me and ask me after they settled all the strokes and wired me up, feeding tubes and all that. The doctor actually come over to me and he said, "What do you do for a job?" And I said, "Well, I run a business that moves the earth, drives trucks, drills holes, builds houses." And the doctor said to me, "You'll never do that again. You better find something else." And if I could, I would have grabbed him by the neck and I would have said, "Well, watch me, bitch." Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And yeah, never take any negativity from your doctors, mate. Try to turn it into a positive. You know what I mean?
Actually, my doctors were really good. They were like, very encouraging. And so was most of the, no, I'm not going to say all the nurses. Some of the
Yeah.
nurses were biatches,
Yep.
but
I said that too.
most of them were nice.
Yeah, I said
But
exactly your own words, Carla, and I have a full understanding of why you say that. And no discrimination to any nurses or whatever, but some nurses are not meant to be nurses.
nope.
And I don't care what anyone says. That's just my own personal experience, And yeah, but like, yeah, I don't know. Well, I think weight loss. Put it this way, Carla. When I was what was it? Hey Google, convert 130 kilos into pounds.
130 kilograms is equivalent to 286.601 pounds.
All right, I was 286 pounds.
Oh my God, you weighed that much?
Yeah. And
How much
now
do
I'm
you weigh now?
100. Well, I weighed myself this afternoon when I got home from work, and I was 84.4 kilos on the scales, which is, hey Google, convert 84 kilos into pounds.
84 kilograms is equal to 185.188 pounds.
So I've lost 101 pounds.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So you should be proud of yourself.
And like, it's no good losing it through diet unless you also attach exercise to it.
Yeah.
My problem with exercise was the recommendations by doctors saying, no, you should not do that. Not recommended. And I ended up stacking some mighty weights on the Titan bar in the weightlifting area that I've set up, and I can deadlift 300 pounds now. So yeah, it's not bad.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I can
You
feel
must
it.
be doing something right.
Yeah, well, trying to keep myself happy. That's all. And
You
if I'm
seem to
happy,
be happy. I know
yeah,
you've had some problems with some people on here, but it seems like you just ignore them and just
I
carry
do.
on with your good self.
Well, it's what it's done for me, Carla, and I hope it does it for you too. That your experience doesn't make you a victim, but makes you stronger. And it gives you a certain strength to make decisions within your life to decide when to hit that red button. Say, right, mofo, you really want some of this after what I've been through and what I know, and that's just what
Yeah.
you really want some of this, because I can actually claim, Carla, to be brain damaged. I really can,
Uh-huh.
by default and by meaning and by producing MRIs to show you that half my brain was knocked out,
Wow.
and so I could use that as a victim tool. Say, well, I'm sorry I said that because I'm not right in the head. No, 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 no. That's not how it works. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm going to go anyway, Carla, and I
Thanks
hope.
for coming up, Vinny. I enjoyed our conversation. Maybe sometime I'll go on your panel.
Oh, yeah, look, yeah. Uh, I'm not expecting anyone to ever come on my panel, Carla. And to be honest, my side of YouTube, ooh, you know, I'm not a very well liked person on here, and I admit that. I'm in full reflection of that. But I really enjoy people like you, Carla, who are willing to give me a chance to come up just to see how you are and no one else. Because you know, there are people that care. I'm just saying.
I care, and I judge you by the way you treat me. You've been and never been nothing but respectful.
Yeah,
So I judge you by how you treat me. I don't care what people say about you.
yeah,
That's what I think. You know, you have to judge people in individually, not by what a bunch of them say about you over there. I don't
yeah.
do that.
Oh, and Carla, I have tried and I have tried and I have bought the smallest crochet hooks to the biggest crochet hooks, and I do not know how to crochet, but I'm trying. I'm trying.
You just keep it up. You'll get it.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
it
really,
took me a
really
while.
trying.
I couldn't get a straight line to save my life, and I just kept practicing and kept practicing and kept practicing until I
So,
finally got it.
can I ask, what's the secret to keeping the tension on the wool? Like, because like when you crochet, if you don't keep that tension right, you get the big stitch, small stitch, square stitch, and they all. It doesn't look even. Like you ladies, when you crochet, every stitch looks beautiful and even. Like,
You have to hold it. You have to hold it. I've hold it between my second and third finger, the wool,
oh,
and
okay,
it seems to hold it, and I keep it that way. So,
yeah, I
yeah.
think it's because I got guys' hands and like the skin's a bit rough on the fingers because you know I play in the dirt and all that all the time. Um, the wool doesn't seem to drag over my fingers. Sometimes it gets caught, like you know what I mean. It's just gets caught on your fingers. You probably wouldn't have that problem because no one expects you to play with machines and drill holes and things like that. You know,
Well,
so
no, and when I
yeah,
started, I couldn't even do a straight line. I just learned. I tried to teach my granddaughters because they wanted to learn too. I'm
yeah,
sorry, I'm the worst teacher ever because because they really had a hard time figuring it out. And
yeah,
I just said, go on YouTube and learn because that's how I learned because I
yeah.
could not teach them. I'm the worst teacher.
My
So,
grandmother, when I was in Europe, actually, it's funny how it happened. Just before I go, I'll let you know a story. My grandmother, she was a mad knitter. She was such a mad knitter. You could hear the turtle shell knitting needles like clicking against each other, and it was like a machine. It was like, and I thought, oh yeah, that'd be good. At school, I suffered an injury on my legs once again, and I was laid up for a couple of weeks. And my grandma came over and I was watching her knit while we were watching TV. And I asked my grandma if I could have a set of knitting needles, you know, and she actually taught me how to knit. And I went on to teach my daughters how to knit, which in elementary school or primary school as it's known here, my daughter in one of my daughters in the third grade was actually teaching the class how to knit. So I just thought,
oh, that's amazing.
yeah,
That's amazing.
I just thought
That's
that was
great.
pretty. But anyway, Carla, I'm going to let you get on with your
Okay,
stream.
Vinny, get
Yeah,
you have a is it nighttime there or is it
it's actually 4:30 in the morning, and
oh okay.
because I went to like work all week, and I was a bit tired, so I went to bed early, and I woke up at 2:30, and I'm single, you know, so time is irrelevant to me, and yeah, I just because I try to listen to you guys' streams as well when I'm up this early because of time differences in time zones. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but I hope
Well,
you get well, quick, and I hope everything goes all right
Thank
for
you
you.
for coming up. And I just wanted to say that I really enjoy Jenny Jin's streams when you guys are
Yeah,
all up there, because here, the thing about Jenny's streams is it's not all about YouTube fuckery. You guys talk about everything on there, and it's
yeah,
interesting. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Jenny's a sweetheart. She really is.
she is. She
She,
really
she
is.
gets mad at she gets mad at me a lot.
She
She
gets
does.
mad at Hondo too.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You got Jenny trying to, well, she doesn't try to control, but she's trying to instill some manners in us. I find it funny, especially when she says
I
to us,
know
"You two are just a bunch of buttholes."
she's got that sweet Southern voice, and it's like
Yeah, yeah,
it doesn't even work for her getting mad because it just doesn't. You
yeah.
don't see it. But
But
anyways,
stay blessed, Carla, and have a great stream.
you too. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. I don't know if anybody's left here, but thank you guys for coming in. I'm gonna go have a nap, I think. It was really nice of him to come up. I really enjoyed talking to him. So you guys have a great day, rest of your day. Thank you, new subscribers that came on. John Paul. Who else came in? Panga. Somebody else came in here that said James Money. A few people. Uni, I saw you. Misnomer, I saw you. Crime Canary, I saw you. Sean, I saw you. But anyways, you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'm gonna like probably lay down for a bit because I'm a little tired. So bye everybody.